So, welcome. My name is WriterMaven. I am the host of the Wrestling Receipts podcast. I talk all things Judgment Day, Dom, Liv, Raquel, Finn, JD, maybe Roxanne, or Toledo. First of all, best wishes and good vibes and prayers over to Liv Morgan. They did say that she suffered a dislocated shoulder during the match with Kairi Sane. Now, I'm going to say this here because I'm going to proceed with the rest of my observations, just carrying on without coloring it with the injury. But I will say this. We do not know the severity of this injury. There's a lot of people crashing out about it, and I get it because I crashed out about Dom. But we do not know the severity of the injury. We don't know how long she'll be out. Just because we see timetables on Google doesn't mean that she's going to be out that length of time. She could do like they did with Dom last year and just put a sling on it. She could be. So I saw a photo of somebody's shoulder, and they were back in like 10 days. Seriously. And then we all got those extended timetables off Google. Don't pay attention to Google timetables. We don't know the severity of it. We don't know the severity of the injury. We probably won't know until next week, probably, on the severity of it. If it's a severe enough injury where she has to be off TV, then this is where I say Dom needs to be on his own. We are not going to do like another Liv Dom summer last year because one thing, Liv and Roxanne do not have any kind of chemistry. Like, none. At least when we had Liv and Dom last year, we saw the chemistry. Here we don't. And I don't want to see Dom going with another woman just because everybody want to keep saying he's a man whore. So nah, we need to nip that in the bud. Let him be on his own. If and only if she's off for like a extended amount of time where she's off TV. If it's an injury where she can't wrestle but she can be on TV like Dom, then they can proceed on with the Judgment Day storyline as is. She just won't be wrestling. It sucks. She might miss Evolution and she might miss SummerSlam or Night of Champions. But if she can stay on TV, that's cool. What I am hoping for that that her injury is not severe. If it's an injury that she has to not wrestle, it doesn't. She can still stay on TV. But if she has to do any kind of, but if it has to take her off TV, then Dom needs to be on his own. And those are my wishes now. But first and foremost, forget what I want. I just want Liv to recover, be healthy, and bounce back. But I implore you guys, don't pay attention to these Google timetables for the injury. Because, like I said, we don't know. Until they announce anything. And don't really pay attention to dirt sheet twos. I got burned badly last year by Meltzer when he said that Dom would be out like, 6 months with his injury. And it ended up being almost like a month with Dom with his elbow injury. So be wary of the dirt sheets. We know it's a legit injury, but be wary of dirt sheets putting any kind of timetables on the injury, especially right now. If you need a report, look for Sean Ross Sapp. He usually verifies all of his information. So if you get it from Sean Ross Sapp, then you can at least believe that a little bit more over these other people. But like I said, best wishes to Liv. The injury sucks. The timing sucks, but you never know. We got Liv and Dom summer out of this. We might get another resurrection of this out of it. We never know. I'm just gonna look on the positive right now. I want to stay positive. If I'm doing some fantasy booking of it, this is just only with me thinking best case scenario where this is only when Liv is only up to do it and she wants to do it. This is not me demanding any kind of booking with Liv or anything like that right now. This is just a fantasy booking on the assumption that she's up to do it and can do it. First of all, I'm going to address this now with the Roxanne thing. They can't... Roxanne sliding in like that. first of all, it won't make sense, and second of all, they don't have any kind of chemistry at all. I think they tried it just to see, and there's no chemistry, none. We knew from the get go last year that Liv and Dom had chemistry, and Roxanne and Dom don't have chemistry. Roxanne sliding in there wouldn't make any kind of sense. Dom had reasons to turn on Rhea. There's no reasons to turn on Liv at this particular moment. So I just attribute that to Rhea Stans just wanting Liv and Dom to break up. I saw a theory like Liv comes back as a babyface and joins up with Rhea against Raquel and Roxanne. I'm like, okay, first of all, where's Finn and JD in this situation? And why would Liv join up with Rhea? So there's those Liv for brutality type crumbs too that people want. So right now that would make sense. They might not have wanted to go with Liv and Dom last year, but at least they had enough build up for it and they had chemistry for it. Here with Roxanne, nah. Roxanne had more chemistry with Finn than Dom, to be honest. But I'll get into that later. But like I said, best wishes to Liv. I'm going to now proceed with this Raw review without really mentioning the injury. I don't want to color my injury too much. I don't want to bring it down. I want to stay positive, and I'm going to stay positive. I don't want, I have to stay positive pretty much for Liv. I'm not wanting to crash out about it. I don't want to feel sad about it. I'm just going to proceed. She will feel better, and she will get better on whatever timetable is available. So, Monday Night Raw, we start off with Liv and Dom opening the show. And see, didn't I say this yesterday? Like how I said, it would be nice for Dom to go out there with Liv. So, here we go. And they look great. I like the entrance. Dom comes in under Liv's music. We got the nice entrance of them together. So now people can stop bitching on that. And they got in. They referenced the Nikki stuff with Liv, what happened last week. And we got, that recap. And then we got in, and then here comes the mixed reaction for Dom. I actually like that Dom gets a mixed reaction. He got the boos, Liv got the boos. Dom gets cheered later on in the night too, but it's really interesting to see that dynamic with Dom. He'll get booed and then he'll get cheered. So I think Dom is getting set up for like his own unique reaction where he'll get booed and then he'll get cheered. But this entrance with them kicking off the show, at least, that it was just like, my crops are watered, my skin is moisturized. Like I had been wanting that for a long time. Dom had a new vest. It's a cow vest. We actually got Dom to do a little bit of a promo. He got booed, but he at least got a bit of a promo. Liv got in talking about Nikki, saying she paved her own way, mentioned Io. Liv saying she demands respect. And she wants the rematch that she never got. And I'm like, finally, she wants her rematch. Because that was always what we all bitched about as Liv fans. Like, how is it that Rhea could keep getting rematch after rematch, and everybody else can get rematch after rematch, but Liv never got her rematch. So now, she's demanding her rematch. Io comes out. Io says, shut your mouth. And Liv wants the title. And then Io says, you stole Dirty Dom. Now, here's the interesting bit about Io saying that. She did not mention Roxanne at all. So at this moment in time, there's no reference to, Io trying to say, well, aren't you worried about Roxanne or something like that? They didn't do that with Io. She just mentioned that Liv stole Dirty Dom. And then Dom says the most dirtiest, and then it was dirty and hilarious at the same time. Dom says, I give her what she wants like I do every day. And I'm like, sir. It was just, you know what he's talking about, but so it was so dirty, but then it's hilarious on how he's just like, yeah, you should just give her what she wants, like I do every day. Like, sir. And then Io gives Liv the title, and while Liv has it, kicks Liv, and then she kicked Dom, so Dom caught a straighter, and then they took off. My own reaction to this again is like nature is healing. Nature healed with that promo. Seriously. We got to have Dom be dirty about Liv. Like dirty. Like he was actually pretty much intimating what he does with Liv. And like it's kinda like how what he said to Rhea last year, we didn't get much sleep for multiple reasons. Like he's at least allowing him to be dirty and reference it. It's not like a straight reference, but it's more like, he's like hint, hint, nudge, nudge on his references there. And I like that. I mean, you don't need to say too much. They're still under the PG rating. We're not under TV 14, so he can't say too much, but it's just nice that he was able to do that. We had Liv wanting her rematch. And like I said, Io correctly referenced Liv and Dom and didn't bring up Roxanne at all. And we get to gorilla position, and Liv tells Raquel to win, and then Raquel is starting to give Liv some attitude. Now, I have to reference this, because I'm going to be bitchy about this, because I'm going to talk about Cole's ass later. Why is Raquel now giving Liv attitude? Now, you know that I have said that we need to hasten this split between Liv and Raquel, so I get it, and I get why they're doing it, but it doesn't make sense in the context of what's going on. Liv has not been mean to Raquel. She only called out Raquel one time because, hey, she did cost her the match. And it was just like, why are you giving Liv attitude here? Like, is she upset that she wasn't allowed to be out there with Io? See, this is where they needed to explain it a little bit more. If it was like Raquel was, was told to stay in gorilla position and not come out with Liv when she and Dom went out there to the ring for her to explain her actions against Nikki, then that would have been fine. We needed that. We needed that little bit there. And that attitude would have made sense. Like, we come back from commercial, and then you have Liv talking with Raquel, telling her to win. And then Raquel could say, like, I'll win, but or she could reference something like, okay, oh, now you're paying attention to me after being out, you and Dom went out there on your own. That is something that should have been referenced. Because as of this moment, the attitude doesn't make sense. So we go to the Queen of the Ring qualifiers. Oh, and going back to the attitude, like I said, Liv only called her out that one time, but then all the other times with Raquel, she's been calling her sister and pretty much taking her everywhere. And it was Raquel that was, kind of laughing in Dom's face when, Liv caught Roxanne and Dom that one time in the clubhouse. So, like, you were laughing kind of in Dom's face then, but now you're getting an attitude with Liv. There's a shift in the storyline here, but like I said, they either have to they're speeding it up, or they just now decided to pull the trigger, but it doesn't make sense because nothing has been set up properly. Queen of the Ring qualifier. We have Asuka back. It was a pretty good match. We had the power spots and things like that. We had like Raquel like powerlifting Stephanie when she's about to do her double kick, so she's lifting her up and like falling out of the ring and things like that. So that was pretty cool. And then of course, Rhea shows up to cost Raquel the match. And what I did not like about this is that Rhea pretty much gives Raquel the riptide and throws her back in the ring so Asuka could pin her. Okay, that would have been... Okay, that's cool. You don't want Stephanie to be pinned. But I don't like how it was just a simplistic riptide. Like, why couldn't she, like, riptide her onto the announce table? I know it's on the ground, but like everybody does like that riptide to the ground. Like do it onto the announce table or beat her up a little bit more, and then do that riptide and then toss her in. Because last week Kyrie, it had to take Kyrie knocking both Rhea and Raquel out with her dive. So like if we're gonna build to this Rhea versus Raquel match, like I'm really hoping they allow Raquel to show out offensively a little bit more against Rhea. Because if it's just gonna be one sided like this, it's gonna be painful for Raquel. And Raquel does not need that. She needs to be able to reestablish herself. Because if you're gonna separate Liv and Dom, and especially with the situation that it is now, you need to have her be able to get built up. You can't just have Rhea run over her. Judgment Day Clubhouse. Dom's over there near Roxanne, so of course, look, Dom's in actual proximity to Roxanne, and Liv didn't bust a fit about it when she came in. You see what I mean? How people were just blowing that out of proportion last week. But Liv comes in and wants Raquel to help her get ready for the match. And then Raquel is all talking about like she's hurt, she's got the ice. And then Liv is like, fine, I'll do it myself, and storms off. Now, somebody on the X gave a really good point of how many times has Liv been out there for Raquel when she's, already had a match and she was injured. So why is Raquel stopping now? Like when Liv was trying to get into Money in the Bank, she lost that match, but she still was out there for Raquel for her match against, what was it, Kyrie, later on in the night. So why is it now all of a sudden Raquel doesn't want to help Liv? See what I mean? Like things are not making sense here. And then Dom wants to go after her, but JD stops him. And again, okay, why are we stopping you? Why are you stopping Dom, JD? There's a shift here. Like I said, the story is not making sense. We've had JD be Dom's dog and brother all this time, and then all of a sudden now JD is kind of like questioning Dom here. Like, what happened here? Maybe they have to hurry up and do the split because of the reaction that Liv and Dom had at Worlds Collide and Money in the Bank. But there are far better ways of kind of getting to this point than just doing like this straight shift. It's changing, it's changing what we've already seen for months. Like, if we hadn't seen this for months, I probably wouldn't be that miffed about it. But we've seen months and months of JD having Dom's back. We've had months and months of Liv and Raquel having their back. And then now, all of a sudden, everybody's got an attitude against Liv and Dom. And when JD stops them, we have JD and Finn questioning Dom's intention. So pretty much we're getting a situation of Liv and Dom are getting too big-headed and big-timing the Judgment Day. But have we seen any of that throughout the whole months of Judgment Day from when October of 2024, when we've seen this, when it started, the friction started, to now? We have not seen Liv and Dom big time the Judgment Day. Not like how Rhea did it, and not like how Damian did it. Like it's not like Dom is over here like Damian saying like he didn't need Judgment Day. It's not like Liv is over here doing all the matches or making matches for people that they don't want to do. Like, no, Liv's not even doing what Rhea did. Now Liv got Dom into a match, but that's all completely different than making a match for somebody who didn't want to do the match. You see what I mean? So now all of a sudden Dom and Liv are big-headed and big-timing and thinking they're presented as being too good for Judgment Day, but we don't have that evidence from the months that they drug out this shit. Like, if they wanted to do the big timing, this should have started months ago. Actually, this should have started at WrestleMania and the Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania. If they had started it then, like, Dom is your new Intercontinental Champion. Liv regains the titles on the Monday Night Raw after WrestleMania. JD comes in helping out Dom. And then, after that Monday Night Raw, the very next week, we have Liv and Dom happy with their titles. And then they start big timing the group. And then maybe JD here could get miffed at Dom because he was just used to help Dom with his title defense instead of like feeling like being part of the group anymore. You see what I'm saying here? Like this should have started at the Raw after WrestleMania or the Raw after that. Then by the time we got to this point, it would have made sense. But now it just seems like they either are seeing like, oh, we see the reaction of Liv and Dom, we gotta pull the trigger now. But now it's just it's really off right now, the story. And Dom kind of excuses like his like aloofness and not paying attention, like saying that AJ's is after him. And then when Finn is talking about like going out there, and like, I think what was it? JD was saying like, why isn't Dom out there? And again, this is what Cole says later, and I'm gonna get into that rant later. But Finn is like, I'll be out there for you for JD, and then Dom stops him. It's like, hey, you didn't take care of AJ like I asked you to do last time, which is true. And it's kind of like Dom is doing what they did to him all these months. Now, I want you to keep this like memory in the back of your head of Dom always being told to soften up people. So he's flipping the script now with Finn. And it makes sense. He had to soften up all the people for Judgment Day and get his ass beat for years. And so now when it's his turn to be in this position where he can ask people, now it's a problem. You see what I mean? Like, why is it a problem now? Like, nobody had any problems with Dom getting his ass beat. Nobody was saying when Dom was getting his ass beat, how come Dom is out here by himself? Why is Dom always having to do this? Nobody said that years ago. Nobody said that last year when he was going on that losing streak. Nobody was saying that. But now it's a problem when Dom is not out there. Now it's a problem when he's not apparently supporting the Judgment Day the right way. You see what I'm saying? This is where Finn says for Dom to go with JD and he agrees, and then JD and Dom leave. And then Finn sits down to Raquel and says that she did a good job, and then Finn says to Roxanne that he has an idea to help Liv. Now, Finn buttering up Raquel is insulting my intelligence. How many months have we seen Finn neg Liv, Dom, and Raquel? Like, he didn't have really much of a chance to neg JD, but he negged Dom, he called him a loser, he negged Liv, and he negged Raquel. So, if Raquel starts believing what Finn says right now, that's going to be really insulting my intelligence because we just got him over him. We just seen him. I'm sorry. We just saw him, or we've seen him for the past months, just negging Raquel, Dom, and Liv. Now, if they wanted to do it right, they could have had like Finn come over here and apologize. Like, hey, I was, getting really into myself and I was letting all these, even reference the Penn Balor stuff. Hey, all these losses were getting to my head, and I was just taking it out on everybody, and I'm really sorry about that. Let's start off, I think he did a really good job, yada, yada, yada. See, that would have made more sense. Like at least here, he would be, doing maybe doing like a fake an apology, but at least it puts it where we are not ignoring what happened months ago. Like, you can't tell me to ignore what happened months ago. I know we used to do that with the Vince McMahon era, and it always pissed me off because they always expected you not to remember something that happened like a month ago, or 2 months ago, or things like that. Like, we remember. That's what makes the storyline great because we know what happened. That's what made the Bloodline storyline great before it went to shit. Because we remember what happened. We remember that Sammy had issues with Roman. Seth had issues with Roman. We remember the beefs and all that. Remember how Jimmy didn't want to really forgive Sammy. Things like that. That's what made it good. So if they would just say like, hey, I wasn't right to do that, and I'm sorry, and here we go, let's move forward, that would have been a lot better. But we're not doing that. We're just like, it's like we're fast forwarding through major storyline plot points. And it's just, and it's not going to be good for Finn, Raquel, and JD. Why won't it be good for them? Because without those connection beats, it's just gonna be a really flat turn. Okay, so say they turn on Liv and Dom. Yay, cool. Yeah, it's just that the majority of the audience already knows what was going to happen. Last year, and I got into an argument on the X regarding this, like, the sooner you see that they're going to get turned on, the better. And I'm like, yeah, I know, but it's going to be flat. I know that the turn is going to probably happen, but if they execute it this just straight out, like just Finn, JD, Roxanne, and Raquel turning on Liv and Dom, then it's just going to fall flat. Because there's no drama to it, there's no impact. Like, it's just going to be a turn. Like, Raquel's barely getting any reaction, JD is barely getting any reaction, and Finn, like, right now, is not barely getting a reaction. Who was getting chanted at during JD's match? It was Dom. Like, nobody was really paying attention to JD. AJ was barely getting paid attention to by the crowd. So do you think the audience will care if Finn, JD, Raquel, and Roxanne turn on Liv and Dom? They might give them a little bit of a boo, but as soon as like Liv and Dom like hug each other or something like that, you know, the crowd is going to erupt, and you know nobody's going to pay attention to the other people. So you can't do a straight. That's why I keep saying they can't do a straight up turn. The turn needs to be swerved. Like if they're gonna do the turn, you know, maybe it looks like Finn is gonna turn, but then Liv and Dom beat them to the punch. And that's what I'm hoping they do. Because right now, if it's just a straight turn from Finn against Liv and Dom, it makes Liv and Dom look like it don't make them look smart. Because it just makes them look like they're being played, kind of like how Rhea and Damian were gonna get played. But like I said, last year we had a lot more hints. Things were hidden. We had to look for clues. Um, there are no clues with the storyline right now. I mean, we know just basic. It's like basic clues with like looks and things like that, and Dom causing Finn accidentally on purpose. But those aren't really like those hidden clues like we got last year. We didn't get those social media posts. We didn't get those backstage background moments like it was last year. We didn't get like Dom being like slick and like how he talked and what he did. You know, we're not getting that right now. That's what made Rhea and Damian like falling for the betrayal more impactful, because Dom risked it all to get Rhea back to his side with the "I hate you" speech. Like, I don't think we're gonna get anything like that in this story. So I'm hoping for their sake that they let Liv and Dom turn on their own and leave Judgment Day, and then that could be split. And now you see now that Finn is trying to be like before this, I'm really starting to believe now that Roxanne is being used, because if Roxanne was in on it, work with me here, if Roxanne was in on it, she would not be agreeing to like Finn's idea on how to help Liv. Now this didn't come out tonight because of the injury, but if it had gone through, why, if Roxanne is in on the turn with Finn, why is she listening to Finn's advice here? Wouldn't somebody, if they were in on the plan, say like, hey, I have an idea to help Liv, you know, especially since Raquel is in earshot right here. Like, wouldn't Roxanne say something like, hey, I have an idea to help Liv, even though she doesn't want it, I have an idea. That would make sense for somebody being in on the plan. So right now, I don't think Roxanne is in on the plan. I think it's all Finn at this particular moment. And then here, we have Roxanne still kind of like mean-mugging Finn, so I'm like, okay, what are we doing here? Are we like going with, you know, her being upset with Liv and she joins Finn out of spite? Or is it like, they're just, Liv and Raquel are pretending just to get Finn comfortable? It's still kind of up in the air, but right now it's just leaning more towards Finn just going to pull everybody to his side when it doesn't make sense at this, for what we've been presented at. Um, and then we had JD versus AJ. And this is where Cole pisses me off yet again. Cole was on commentary asking why Dom isn't out helping out Judgment Day like Judgment Day helped him. And like I said, I had that rant earlier, but why is it now a problem that Dom is out there helping Judgment Day? Like, he was out there now, but like I said, nobody was saying this on Dom's behalf when he was getting his ass beat. Like, why was it such an issue that Dom had to be out there when Damian didn't have to be out there? Damian was a champ, and he wasn't out there helping Judgment Day when they were fighting, who's that? Ray, and, it was Ray and Zelina and all them. Damian wasn't out there, so why is it now all of a sudden we're flipped and Dom has to do all these things? Like I said, let's see. So that's my major quirk. At least Corey was out there tonight to mitigate stuff, and I really enjoyed him on commentary, and I want him to come back. Please come back to heel commentary, Corey. We missed you. If we're not going to get a heel commentator, we need to have either Wade Barrett or Corey. We can't do this Pat McAfee and Cole thing all of a sudden, because all we would have heard is just Pat and Cole just yakking away. AJ wins and then steals Dom's belt. Finn saved Dom here before that. So they're still trying to present Finn as being helpful here, quote unquote. The Judgment Day try to surround the ring, but AJ escapes with the belt. And Dom was pissed about that on social later on. It's like with the commentary, it just feels like they're trying to change the history. Like I said, I don't like my intelligence being insulted. And if they're going to try to change history, can y'all do that after the betrayal? Because at least last year, with them changing Rhea's history, they waited until after the betrayal. They weren't trying to change history during before the betrayal, because that would have made sense. Like, if we're going to be trying to change history, like, change it at a point where it makes more sense. Like, I still don't like how they changed Rhea's history, but at least they waited to do it. AJ versus Dom at Night of Champions is official for the Intercontinental Championship. Alice made that official. And, of course, we didn't get Kyrie versus Liv due to the injury. So, that's the review on that. Just to wrap some things up, it feels like they're shifting the narrative that Dom and Liv are being too big for the group. And they're big time in the group. And that's fine. I have no problem with them going with that route, but at least make it where it makes sense with all the other people involved. Like, have them start feeling upset because of what Liv and Dom did, not because of what Finn's doing. Like, Finn manipulating things still doesn't make sense because you have people that went through like his bullshit months ago, and they should be able to be like, hey, you did this all these months. Like, why should I believe you now? Like, it's that stuff. Like, if he hadn't been doing that, then yeah, him manipulating stuff would make sense. But, you can't go from calling Dom a loser and then all of a sudden manipulating things like you're the helpful one and nobody's calling you out for that. Like, that narrative shift doesn't make sense. The shifts in attitude with JD and Raquel don't make sense. Like I said, why is Raquel having an attitude with Liv when Liv has been there for her? Like, why is JD now all of a sudden having a problem with Dom when Dom pretty much had his back for a long time? See, that's another quirk that's not making sense, and it's pissing me off, because Dom was there for JD before he even got into the group. Dom was the one like helping JD get into Judgment Day. So now all of a sudden you have a problem with Dom not showing up for you? Like, he was there for you. Like, all of a sudden now you don't want him? So if they wanted to make it where they wanted to be heelish about it, I guess they could make it like, JD is just assuming Dom will be there for him selfishly. But they're not presenting it that way. They're presenting it as Liv and Dom big timing them. So you can't have it both ways. You can't say that Dom is being, that JD is being selfish and wants Dom there all the time to help him out, and then have Dom be too big-headed for the group. Those two ideas don't make sense, and they don't mesh together. Either Dom is too big headed for the group, and him and Liv are big time in the group, or JD wants Dom all to himself to help him out. So either you're gonna present Liv and Dom as the heels, or you're gonna present JD and Finn and all them as the heels. You can't have everybody be a heel. Somebody's got to take that face point. And it looks like it probably will be Liv and Dom, but still, they're still being presented as heel-ish. I guess you could say they're tweeners, but still, you're getting heel versus heel, and heel versus heel rarely works. And that's why I keep saying that the storyline is going to fall flat. And I did say that there looks like they're trying to rewrite history, and Finn is all trying to be helpful now, like without acknowledging the past. And that's what's missing here. Finn needed to acknowledge his past, acknowledge that, hey, all these losses were really getting to me, and I'm sorry. Say that to like Raquel, say that to JD. He could have said that to Carlito if he was there. Like, say that stuff while they were there, and then when Liv and Dom still have their attitudes and big time in the group, then maybe the other people will come around to Finn's thinking. At least that's how I would have done it if they wanted to go that route. Because at least then you have Finn actually acknowledging the history and the past. Like I said, if the turn happens as is, it'll fall flat and Liv and Dom look dumb, pretty much. Especially since they're being presented as smart. Like, you can't present Liv and Dom as smart and then dumb them down just for the sake for the story. Like, that hurts their characters. And like I said, it's mirroring Rhea and Damian, how they were kicked out last year. But like I said, again, at least last year there was a lot of reasons for them to be kicked out that had been built up. Here, we're speed running. And to reference Liv's injury again, we don't know the severity, so please don't crash out just yet. We need to wait for official word. Don't crash out. It could be minor, it could be severe. We're hoping for minor. We're hoping that it's not too bad. If there's a chance that Liv can do what Dom did last year when he was injured, then they probably need to go that route. If it isn't severe, Liv should probably be around because she's linked to too many stories. Like, a lot of stories. Like, she needs to be around at least. She can accompany Dom to the ring. She can be in the clubhouse. Somebody had the idea that Dom could be really doting on her and being occupied, talking with, taking care of Liv, and that gives more of a separation between the Judgment Day because Dom's attention is all about taking care of Liv. So you could do something like that. I'm still thinking Liv and Dom, if everything goes the way it goes, that they'll leave on their own and they won't get kicked out. It makes no sense for them to get turned on. They just need to leave on their own, be on Bonnie and Clyde, burn down the clubhouse, and that's it. If they want to stick around Finn, they can stick around Finn with his Timu Bullet Club or something like that. Regarding like them repeating what they did last year with like Roxanne, I say no. I don't think they can. There's no chemistry. They would just ruin something just for like a swerve. That's a swerve for swerve's sake, and I don't think they should be doing that. If Liv can't continue, then Dom needs to be on his own. Like, period. Like, everything just needs to be, the trigger needs to be pulled, put Dom on his own, and then he can go on and do other things. Like, he can mess with luchadors and things like that, and keep him away from Ray. Like, Ray doesn't need to be around in this period too. Like, let him establish on his own if he has to be on his own. If it's severe that Liv isn't there. If not, if Liv is there, then I think they can do like they did last year.